All right, so this is a 1990 CRX Si. I just picked this up yesterday, in fact. So I've owned, this will be my fourth CRX, I think, and I wanted to do a video on it, you know, to show you guys an old car. I mean, this thing was built 24 years ago. I mean, it was probably built 25 or 26 years ago. But it's, what is it going to be, an antique next year? Right? Something like that. So I love these cars. People like to rag on Hondas, and I'll never understand it. But the CRX I used to call the poor man's Porsche. Now, maybe a Miata would be closer to that, because this is front-wheel drive. But I need to make sure I'm finding my proper way out of here. But these cars, for the price, are amazing. I think I had my first CRX back in maybe 1990, and it was great. It was just the HF model. That's all it was. HF stands for high fuel, which means first gear, you had 0 power, and fifth gear was gigantic. I mean, literally, in a gas car, 87 octane, I was getting over 50 miles to the gallon on the highway. Wasn't a hybrid. Wasn't anything special about it. It was lightweight and didn't have all the standard safety features that you find today. That's how Honda was able to do it. And then you had the 92 to 95 CX models or VX models that were the same. It was just the hatch version. So I have no idea if I'm going the right way here. Just amazing cars. Now, I thought that they were cheaper new. I just looked it up, and back in 90-91, to buy one of these cars would have cost you about $13,000 brand new. Now, think about it. That's back when gas was probably $1 a gallon. So that would make this, if we went by inflation of gas, that would make this a $30,000 vehicle, which that's not right. You know, going by gas for inflation prices is just crazy. But you see my point. It's not as cheap as I thought, but they were definitely cheap used. The problem today, you know, in 2014, in trying to find one of these, is trying to find one that's been unmolested. Maybe I can turn right without needing a green. Is trying to find one that's been unmolested. It's pretty difficult, okay? Especially in this area. I'm in Virginia Beach, and people like to, I say, rice these things out. They really do. Most of the CRXs you'll see, they're hatch jobs. They're, you know, just not done very well, and it's sad because they haven't made these cars since 1991. All right, but I've been looking for one because I wanted something to and from work, around town, that would be fun to drive. And excuse me, I'm being really careful with this clutch because it definitely needs a new one. First and second gear, it likes to slam into gear. Third gear, it likes to grind it. So I'm trying to be careful here. But this car has all the normal problems and none of the non-normal problems. So a known problem with the CRX's second gen is a crack in the heater and AC control unit here, whatever you want to call it. It's cracked, but it still works. The AC works. The AC is blowing cold right now. It has some oil everywhere in the engine bay, but I don't see any current leaks, which is a good thing. I did smell coolant, and I'm not sure if I can trust this temperature gauge, because it comes up to temp pretty quick. But as I remember, most Hondas do. They come up to temp pretty quick, and they pretty much stay pegged right where they're at, unless there's a problem. It's missing some weather stripping around the windshield. It's got little things wrong with it. It's got an exhaust leak, but it looks like the original exhaust. It's got a decent radio in it. All 4 speakers work and work clearly. The heat works. I remember to check that, even though it's summertime. It needs an alignment, but it has all 4 stock aluminum rims with the center caps. It's got decent tires on it. I'm very happy. I personally think I paid too much, but for a stock, unmolested CRX, especially in this area, that doesn't have the quarter panel rust, the moonroof works. You know, it has the tears on the seat, which are, I mean, that's to be expected unless somebody's repaired them, and they're actually not that bad for a vehicle that the seats haven't been repaired in. The thing that I love about these cars, and this may seem funny to anybody who has only driven, you know, newer vehicles, grew up with newer vehicles, is that this is manual steering, okay? It's manual windows. I like to work on my own cars. I mean, I do everything I can. I've had so many of these CRXs and I've done so much to them that there's probably nothing on a CRX that I wouldn't feel confident in repairing unless it was something that I had to weld or paint and body work. Anything mechanical, I'm pretty comfortable, and the parts are very, very cheap, like this clutch, right? I think the last time I replaced a clutch in a CRX for a stock replacement clutch was $100. $100 for the kit with the throwout bearing. So fairly cheap, especially if you can do it yourself, and it's pretty easy to change a clutch in a CRX. But with that manual steering, you just get that feel. You know, it's a much different driving experience. It's low, even though it's stock height. Even my old ass with my broken back, because it's the stock height, it has been lowered. I'm okay getting in and out of it, even though it's a very low car. It still feels normal. Every other CRX I've owned, I slammed them. So that's what I remember. So getting in and out of this, it's very comfortable. I have a great open view of everything. What does this person know? And I can feel the road. I can feel, you know, it's a manual. Anybody that buys an automatic CRX, they're just doing it wrong. They're wrong, because you don't know what you're missing. The car will still get out of its own way, even in 5th gear. I mean, and being 39 years old now, because I believe the first CRX I bought was probably in 97, maybe 98. So I was much younger then. So being 39 and driving this, knowing, you know, I've had an Evo 9 with a good 360 horses to the wheels. Okay, so driving this right now, I'm not gonna beat the shit out of it, trying to get some power out of it, trying to make it faster than it is. This engine only had 130 horses stock from the factory, okay? In something this light with this gearbox, it's okay. But it's a completely different experience driving this compared to 10, 15 years ago. It's great. I'm not gonna beat the shit out of it. I'm not gonna throw a cold air intake on it and an exhaust manifold, a header, a new full exhaust. There's no reason to. You know what I'm gonna do to it? I'm gonna look at all the belts. I'm gonna replace the water pump. I'm gonna check the main seals. The brakes are actually very good in this. I'm gonna do some maintenance items. And that's it. there's nothing that I want to do to this right now. You know, I've got my Talon that I'm building, and I'm still searching for another Galant VR4 shell to pretty much swap everything from my Talon over into, because I'd prefer to have the full 4 doors and the nice seats. But A to B car right here, and it's nice. With a little bit of money and a little bit of time, I'll replace all the normal wear and tear mechanical items that need to be looked at, and I will have a very, very reliable vehicle that's also fun to drive. You know, yesterday I had the roof open and the windows down, just driving around. I didn't care how hot it was. It was just fun to drive. I was just reminiscing, you know. And it's sad that these cars, everybody just wants to turn them into a race car. The CRX as a race car isn't probably the best platform to start with. It's front wheel drive and it's light. Okay? If you start pushing any real horsepower, first off, it's really only good from a roll. From a dig, you need to start changing suspension and really beefing it up. And that's where you're getting into some money. On the other side, the cool thing about these is you can get a B16, you know, a first gen B16, and you're going to be getting more horses out of it. And depending on what you do to it, you know, whether you get the new computer, whether you get some tuning, you can pull some good numbers out of it. And when I say good numbers, I'm talking about, you know, 170 to 200 horses to the wheels, which does not sound like a lot of horsepower today, but in this, really, really, really fun to drive. And I think that this is just fun to drive. There's just no real power. You know, if I want to have fun with somebody on the highway or whatever, it's not going to happen right now. But you get that B16, and you may shock some people. That's just the way it is. What's this cop doing? Just sitting there with the radar on his motorcycle sideways. I wish you could have seen that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that. Really, really fun to drive. I wish more people would treat these cars, it's going to sound silly, would treat these cars with a little bit more respect than just buying it and gutting it. You know, because they're getting harder and harder to find. So whenever I do something to this car, I'll make videos, I will post them, and yeah, I just wanted to share. That's it. Peace.